We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. A ton of news about the fourth stimulus payments are coming in. I have a lot of information that I'm going to share with you guys today in this video, so continue watching. The several lawmakers, everybody in Congress, have discussed new inflation relief checks for the people. So if you reside in states like Minnesota or Massachusetts, well, you may qualify for at least another stimulus check this year. It comes as budgets are being finalized, states are planning to use the budget surpluses for another round of checks. So a lot of good things are happening in Congress, and a lot of stimulus payments can actually be sent out faster than we ever thought in the history of our lives. So as I was saying, it's official. The governor in several states like Minnesota have actually hoped to include a tax rebate in the state's upcoming budget. It comes from the announcements of the state's budget. It's set to go for January 24. And according to the Associated Press, well, the budget will propose indexing state aid for school districts just to help combat inflation. So Waltz has told reporters that I think people are feeling inflation. Even though it might be cooling a little bit, there's a slight sense of urgency among people to get something done. And that's good here. Something should be done because the Governor Waltz's original pitch for the tax rebates has been quite generous for a lot of people. It gives single filers, for instance, a lot of breathing room, a lot of time to just think about what they can do, and now the government has already signed them into a second term. So, though not all of these fellow lawmakers share the priorities, though, because the House Speaker and Majority Leader claimed they wanted to prioritize tax credits for families, giving the families $3,000 for every child 5 or younger, with a cap of $7,500. Even the Massachusetts governor and top lawmakers signaled that a clear picture of potential tax relief may not even emerge until at least the end of January, when a key final metric is actually heard of. So one governor, for instance, said their teams are working closely through numbers and evaluating what's possible. They said that we told reporters how important it is to make sure that we're doing everything we can for the residents of the state.
For millions of Americans, Social Security is a lifeline. Nearly 2/3 of all seniors depend on it for most of their income. It keeps 15 million people out of poverty. And for millions of people who suffer accidents, who get sick, Social Security disability insurance is there when they need it. We must protect Social Security. And that's why we're all here, is to protect Social Security.
If you meet the eligibility requirements, you could receive some financial support starting next month. An official fourth stimulus check plan has been proposed, and remember everybody, that the whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news. I want to see every member of my community receive the much-needed stimulus payments. So Chuck Schumer is now urging lawmakers to make progress on annual government spending bills. On the Senate floor, Chuck Schumer said that he plans to sit down with Democratic lawmakers later this week to discuss the state of negotiations. That's done to pass a government bill within the next few weeks. So it would be really crazy if the government did shut down, and even if it was just a couple of weeks. Government shutdowns cause the disruption of government services and programs. It's even if lawmakers fail to pass an annual new government spending bill. The SSA, which is the Social Security Administration, has a contingency plan that would help the agency continue to operate, even in the event of a government shutdown. Lawmakers have until February 18th to reach an agreement on spending for fiscal year 2022, which could begin in October under the previous year's temporary continuing resolution passed last month, under the previous year's spending levels. If Congress fails to pass a spending deal for fiscal year 2022, and instead opts for a continuing resolution, it will mark the third time that Congress had to resort to such measures, since spending negotiations began last year. For homeowners who have fallen behind on the mortgages in the country, well, there is some support available to help you pay. President Biden, folks, is traveling to more states to draw up more support for his bipartisan infrastructure package, as well as additional plans for investing in families. But governors are criticizing Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer for not already passing the infrastructure bill. What are your thoughts on Speaker Pelosi, everybody, and the Democrats? And who do you think is holding back our stimulus check? Is it senators like Joe Manchin, or is it Mitch McConnell? Tell me who's to blame, everybody, for holding back the fourth stimulus check. Feel free to comment down below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. On this channel, folks, I always do my best in providing you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news. Now, President Biden...
And we made a decision there and then that our top priority would be to get you relief, to get working people relief, to get checks in pockets and tax credits in bank accounts. And with the help of this labor union, we delivered that relief, and I want to thank you on behalf of the President and myself for the work you did.
Just talked up his bipartisan infrastructure package, as well as additional plans for investing in families and education. President Biden is on a trip to Michigan. It's part of his broader campaign by the administration to bring public support to the infrastructure package and other policies that are geared toward families and education. First Lady Jill Biden is going to Maine and New Hampshire as well, while Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to visit a union training center in Las Vegas. Joe Biden said the key is getting his $973 billion deal passed involves taking a case straight to the voters, while Republicans and Democrats might squabble in Washington. Biden's theory is that lawmakers of both parties want to deliver for the constituents. White House officials negotiated the compromise with a bipartisan group of senators led by Republican Rob Portman of Ohio and Democrat Kirsten Sinema of Arizona. The agreement features $109 billion on roads and highways, $15 billion on electric vehicle infrastructure and transit systems, and $65 billion toward broadband, among other spending on airports, drinking water system, and efforts to take down climate change. The White House officials negotiated the compromise with a bipartisan group of senators led by Republican Rob Portman and Kirsten Sinema.
There is a move not to preserve Social Security from those on the other side of the aisle, too many of them.
Typically, when you have debt discharge, the IRS treats it as taxable income. With student loan forgiveness, taxes work differently. In March, President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan, which included a clause regarding student loan forgiveness, saying that any federal student loans that were discharged between 2021 and 2025 would not be considered taxable income in terms of federal taxes. Now, lawmakers are back in Washington for the predetermined midterm election sprint. Preventing a government shutdown will be the top legislative item for all lawmakers. The political environment has shifted over the past few weeks. This is impacted by a batch of legislative wins for Democrats earlier in the summer and signs the inflation-laden economy is improving. Democrats are now more confident than ever that they can stem expected losses in President Biden's first midterm elections. They are hopeful they can retain a majority in the Senate, while preventing Republicans from gaining a broad majority in the House. Passing a short-term spending bill before a deadline of September 30th at midnight, when the government funding is set to expire, is a top concern for everybody in Congress. The bill will need the support of Republicans in the Senate, and the 60 votes need to pass. Democrats want to demonstrate to voters they can govern responsibly and not allow a damaging shutdown. In the Senate, Democrats will also keep confirming federal judges nominated by Biden, with government funding set to expire at the end of the month. Both chambers are expected to pass some kind of stopgap funding extension in the upcoming weeks to avert the shutdown, and stopgap funding bills are known as Capitol Hill as a continuing resolution. The Senate Appropriations Chair, Patrick Leahy, a Vermont Democrat, is also aiming for a continuing resolution to run until mid-December to allow lawmakers time just to finish the regular appropriation bills.